Hudson, you're finally home. We need to talk.
Yeah, what's up? Can we do this later? I had a long day.
Seriously? I'm the one who works all day and you went to the billiard club. And now you're tired? I just saw the credit card statement. Care to explain the expenses at the billiards club?
Oh, that? Yeah, the guys from the club organized a trip for the last weeks of July, and I decided to go.
Without discussing it with me first? We're a married couple, Hudson. We make decisions together.
Look, Natasha, it's just a trip with the guys. Why are you making such a big deal out of it?
It's not just about the trip, Hudson. You went ahead and made a decision without even considering how it would affect me or our family.
Oh, come on. It's not like it's a life altering decision, it's just a trip.
That's not the point, Hudson. We are supposed to be a team, but it feels like you're making decisions on your own without any regard for me or our family.
Don't make it sound like I'm some sort of villain. I deserve a break every now and then.
I'm not saying you don't deserve a break, but you should have talked to me about it first. You can't just drop everything whenever you feel like it.
Oh, forgive me for not asking your permission, Your Highness. I didn't realize I needed your approval for everything I do.
You're being overbearing.
Oh, am I? Sounds like you are. You controlling wrench.
Excuse me? Control? Is that what you think this is?
Oh, I know it is. You always find something to complain about.
My name is Natasha, and I'm a nurse at a very popular hospital. I dedicated my life to helping others, and my job can be demanding at times. And so, as soon as I gave birth to my first child, everything became much more overwhelming. My husband Hudson made a decision to become a stay at home dad, ensuring our family remained strong and cared for. I thought that Hudson's devotion was a blessing in my life. I was deeply grateful for his decision as it allowed me to fully focus on my work without worrying about other tasks. In the chaotic world of a hospital where emergencies and long shifts are the norms, having someone reliable at home eases my mind. It really gave me the peace of mind to do what I love most. Not only did Hudson take care of our home, but he also took care of our precious daughter, Mia. She's a bright and caring little girl full of dreams and aspirations. She was always telling me that she wanted to be a working woman when she grew up, just like her mom. It warmed my heart to know that she supported my career choice and understood the importance of pursuing one's dreams. When I came home after a long day at the hospital, tired and emotionally drained, Mia's smiling face and Hudson's comforting presence really helped. Mia's admiration for my profession motivated me to keep pushing forward. There has been instances when Mia accompanied me to the hospital, peeking through the glass doors and watching me put on my scrubs with admiration in her eyes. It fills me with a sense of pride, knowing that she sees me as a role model. I really had the perfect life that one could only dream of. However, fate had a different plan for me. It all came crumbling down so much faster than I could ever imagine. That day, I received an unexpected call from my credit card company. They informed me about an overdraft on my account, which immediately set off alarm bells in my mind. I quickly pulled up my credit card statement, preparing myself for the worst. What I discovered was beyond comprehension. The charges listed were outrageous and none of them rang a bell. My heart sank as I saw purchases from high-end designer brands, exclusive boutiques, famous perfumeries, and even luxury watches. It was a shopping spree that I couldn't recall initiating. As I scanned their transaction details, a pattern emerged. All these purchases were consistently made on Fridays, the very same days when I worked night shifts at the hospital, and Hudson typically spent his evenings at the billiards club. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. Could it be possible that someone was taking advantage of my absence during those specific hours, and could it be that my husband was in it too? My suspicions immediately landed on Chloe, the receptionist at the billiards club. I vividly remembered an incident when I had come to surprise my husband during one of his game nights. As I walked past Chloe, the distinct smell of my husband's signature cologne alarmed me. It was a scent that I knew all too well. An uneasy feeling settled in my stomach. I asked her if she had recently purchased the same perfume that my husband wore. To my surprise, she claimed that the smell might come from her husband's cologne. Her response left me torn. Was it possible that her husband coincidentally wore the same fragrance as my husband? I pushed it aside, thinking it was just an unfortunate coincidence. Now, connecting the dots, I couldn't ignore the possibility that Chloe was somehow involved in these purchases. The situation had left me questioning the trust I had in my husband. Were they both deceiving me? I couldn't shake off the unsettling feeling that there was more to the story, a hidden truth waiting to be unraveled. As doubt continued to consume my thoughts, I decided to take matters into my own hands. With a heavy heart, I made the difficult decision to take a day off work and secretly follow Hudson as he headed to the billiards club. My goal was to uncover the truth once and for all. I really hoped it was all a big, ugly misunderstanding. But despite my hopes, what I witnessed shattered my world. I watched in disbelief as Hudson, my loving husband, picked up Chloe, the receptionist, and together they disappeared into a nearby hotel. The sight was like a knife twisting in my heart. Emotionally wounded and feeling utterly betrayed, I couldn't understand how the person I trusted the most could be engaged in such a terrible act. Thoughts of divorce clouded my mind. The pain was raw and overwhelming, leaving me desperate. Fortunately, I still had something to hold on to. Mia, my ever supportive daughter, became my comfort. Somehow, she seemed to sense that I was a little sadder than usual. In her young but perceptive way, she expressed her unwavering support. Her gestures, though simple, carried the weight of unconditional love. She would be wrapping her arms around me, giving me sweet kisses on my cheek. Her affection resonated deeply within me, reminding me that I wasn't alone in the storm. Her maturity astounded me and gave me a reason to keep pushing forward. I found solace in knowing that I had a strong bond with my daughter, a connection that couldn't be broken. As I weighed the options that I had, the idea of divorce seemed both terrifying and liberating. It would mean giving up on the life we had built together, the dreams and promises we had once shared, but it also presented an opportunity for healing and growth, a chance to redefine my own path and create an even better life. I started to gather more information so that I could do what was best for Mia and me. I meticulously examined Hudson's credit card statements, leaving no stone unturned. I relentlessly contacted hotels, restaurants, and other establishments to gather evidence that would confirm my suspicions. The credit card statements revealed even bigger charges, pointing to a lavish lifestyle that I had been completely unaware of. The bills included $3,000 for accommodations at a luxurious hotel, $1,000 for meals at high-class restaurants, and an additional $500 spent at a renowned spa. All of these reservations were meticulously made for the last 2 weeks of July. The pieces of the puzzle were starting to come together. It became clear that Hudson had been using our shared credit card to finance an affair. I struggled to comprehend how someone I had loved and trusted could have carried on this double life. That night, Hudson returned home unaware of the mounting evidence I had uncovered. I decided to give him one last chance and spoke to him about what I had uncovered. Hudson, you're finally home. We need to talk.
Yeah, what's up? Can we do this later? I had a long day.
Seriously? I'm the one who works all day and you went to the billiard club and now you're tired? I just saw the credit card statement. Care to explain the expenses at the billiards club?
Oh, yeah, the guys from the club organized a trip for the last weeks of July, and I decided to go.
Without discussing it with me first? We're a married couple, Hudson. We make decisions together.
Look, Natasha, it's just a trip with the guys. Why are you making such a big deal out of it?
It's not just about the trip, Hudson. You went ahead and made a decision without even considering how it would affect me or our family.
Oh, come on. It's not like it's a life-altering decision. It's just a trip.
That's not the point, Hudson. We are supposed to be a team, but it feels like you're making decisions on your own without any regard for me or our family.
Don't make it sound like I'm some sort of villain. I deserve a break every now and then.
I'm not saying you don't deserve a break, but you should have talked to me about it first. You can't just drop everything whenever you feel like it.
Oh, forgive me for not asking for your permission, Your Highness. I didn't realize I needed your approval for everything I do.
You're being overbearing.
Oh, am I? Sounds like you are. You controlling wrench.
Excuse me? Control? Is that what you think this is?
Oh, I know it is. You always find something to complain about.
After that conversation, it became easy for me to finally make up my mind. I couldn't go on anymore. Hudson had a change of heart and I did nothing to deserve such treatment. Taking matters into my own hands, I secretly replaced Hudson's working credit card with an expired one. It was a small act, but one that would later hold a significant impact. In the days that followed, I had to do the most difficult thing a mom could do. While Hudson was on his trip with the billiards club, I had to break down the situation to Mia. She was a mature and tough girl, but still, there was a lot to process. I could see how hard it was for her to understand everything, but fortunately, she took the news with courage. With a heavy heart, we made the decision to move on from the life we once shared. Together, we packed our belongings and left behind the home that held memories tainted by broken trust. Mia and I moved to a new home right during that weekend. Divorce papers were prepared and placed on the table of our old home. Mia stood by my side. Her unwavering support was a reminder that I was never alone in this journey. 2 weeks later, Hudson returned to an empty house. He saw the divorce papers and immediately understood what had happened. The weight of his betrayal crashed down upon him. He frantically contacted me, seeking to make it up to me, but I had made the decision to stop all of his contacts. Blocking his calls, I left him alone in a state of panic and uncertainty. Dozens of his voicemails were left unresponded, but I made sure to listen to all of them. They sounded like justice had partly been served.
Natasha, please, I'm begging you to pick up the phone. I don't know what I was thinking, what I've done. I have made the biggest mistake of my life. Please, give me a chance to make it right. I'll do anything at all. Just please talk to me. Natasha, it's me again. I've been going over everything in my mind, replaying the moments of our life together, and I can't believe what I've ruined. You're everything to me, and I let it slip away. I'll do whatever it takes to earn back your trust. I love you so much, and I'm so sorry. Natasha, I'm losing my mind without you and Mia. I can't bear the thought of losing my family. Please, please just hear me out. I want to prove that I can be the man you fell in love with. Please give me a chance. Natasha, it's been days since I heard your voice or saw your smile. I can't express how empty my days are without you. I miss our family, our home, everything that we had built together. I love you so much.
Some people might sway listening to these words, but I wasn't one of them. To me, once a cheater, always a cheater. I could never go back to where we were anymore. As a matter of fact, I didn't stop there. I knew that just after a few months, Hudson would get over the loss of me and Mia and went back to Chloe. And I couldn't let him have a happy ending with his mistress because they didn't deserve it. I reached out to Chloe's husband and told him everything I knew. And so, Just a few days after that, Hudson received an unexpected call that made his situation so much worse. It was Chloe's husband. He threatened to take them both to court. It turned out that Chloe had previously signed a prenuptial agreement that would cost her thousands of dollars if she ever cheated. After that, Chloe's husband reached out to me again, asking if he could help me with anything. I politely thanked him and asked for Chloe's address. Of course, he had prepared all the divorce papers and had moved out, so Chloe was residing at a different address now. She was living with her parents, who had remained unaware of their daughter's affair. With this information, I took it upon myself to gather the evidence and send everything to Chloe's parents. Unable to condone Chloe's actions, they turned their backs on her, forcing her to face the consequences of her choices alone. Chloe then had to move to a small apartment, struggling to make ends meet. After the divorce, Hudson had to work hard to pay off all his credit card debt from the trip. Plus, he had to pay child support as Mia chose to live with me. What's more of a blessing to us was that Chloe's husband did the courtesy of gifting me and Mia a small amount from his own settlement with Chloe. He talked about how sorry he was that we were pulled into this disgusting affair as innocent, loyal people. The amount of $10,000 was definitely not a huge portion of his gain, but it went on to help us so much. I managed to set up a college fund for Mia, ensuring that she would have the education she needed to pursue and any field she wanted to. With Hudson in the past, I found strength in the newfound independence I had acquired, no longer burdened by the weight of his betrayal. I embraced the challenge of managing both my demanding career as a nurse and the responsibilities of running a household on my own. It was not an easy task, but I found empowerment in the realization that I was capable of doing whatever I had set my mind to. Hudson had become a lesson learned. And as I navigated the winding road of life, I knew that I had emerged from the darkness stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the endless possibilities that lay before me. Together with Mia, we led a happy, fulfilling life, knowing that we could deal with anything that came our way.
Ugh, that old lady Kaylee is so annoying. I can't stand her.
Yeah, she's always so strict and uptight. I don't know how she became the department head.
I heard she's been working here for ages. Why doesn't she just retire already? Seriously? Why is she still clinging to her job? She's probably desperate for attention.
Aunt, did you see how she dresses? So outdated.
I can't believe she thinks she can boss us around. We should teach her a lesson. I know, right? I can't wait for her to leave this place.
Wait, she's coming.
Oh, hi, Kaylee. We were just talking about how amazing you are as a department head, such a role model for all of us.
Yeah, Jenny was just praising your dedication and hard work, Kaylee.
Absolutely. We're lucky to have you here.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your kind words.
You're welcome, Kaylee. We're here to support you in any way we can.
That's right, Kaylee. If you ever need anything, just let us know.
We are all a team here, and we are here to make your job easier.
Okay, let's pretend like nothing happened. Keep smiling, everyone. My name is Kaylee, and I'm a 40-year-old businesswoman. I have been married to my husband Gary for several years now. We first met during our time at university and quickly fell in love. After graduation, life took us on separate paths for a while. I had the opportunity to work for a foreign company abroad, while Gary started being a server at a cozy neighborhood restaurant. For 5 long years, I dedicated myself to my career overseas. The job was demanding, but it provided me with valuable experiences and a sense of fulfillment. Meanwhile, Gary worked tirelessly at the restaurant, taking in overtime shifts to make ends meet. Eventually, the time came for me to return to the United States. I was offered a prominent position as the department head at my company. On the other hand, Gary continued working at the restaurant, finding comfort in the familiar surroundings and friendly faces he had come to know. When we reconnected, the spark was still there. And so we quickly got married and started a life together. Despite our achievements and happiness in our career, there was one aspect of our lives that remained unfulfilled. We longed to have children but were troubled by infertility issues. Over the course of 5 years, we went through a lot of fertility treatments, hoping for a miracle. It was an emotional roller coaster filled with disappointment. Despite our tireless efforts, nothing really worked out. We realized that our dream of having biological children may never come true. We made the difficult decision to stop pursuing treatments. It was a heartbreaking choice, but we knew that we couldn't let our hopes and dreams consume us. We needed to find a way to move forward and find happiness in our lives. We decided to embark on a new adventure together. We made a pact to travel across America, exploring the vast landscapes and enjoying our lives. It was a chance for us to rekindle our love. Of course, it took us a lot of time to plan for the trip before making it a reality because of our careers, but we were determined to make it. Well, at least I was. In time, I would soon learn that Gary was secretly having other ideas. Not long after settling into my role as department head at the company, something unexpected happened. One day, as I was attending a team meeting, a familiar face caught my eye among the crowd of new employees. It was Jenny, my niece, whom I hadn't seen in a decade. I was both surprised and delighted to discover that she had joined the company. However, despite my excitement, I realized that Jenny's demeanor towards me was far from warm. Of course, she did say hi to me, but something felt really odd. She seemed to have a condescending attitude, referring to me as an old lady in a teasing manner. Her words and actions questioned my relevance and position within the company. It was disheartening to witness such disrespect from a family member, and I couldn't help but wonder what had led her to harbor such resentment. As days turned into weeks, my growing concern about Jenny's behavior was validated when I accidentally overheard a conversation during a lunch break. I was walking into the office from the hall, and it seemed like Jenny didn't know that I was coming, as she accidentally left the door open.
Ugh, that old lady Kaylee is so annoying. I can't stand her.
Yeah, she's always so strict and uptight. I don't know how she became the department head.
I heard she's been working here for ages. Why doesn't she just retire already? Seriously? Why is she still clinging to her job? She's probably desperate for attention.
Aunt, did you see how she dresses? So outdated.
I can't believe she thinks she can boss us around. We should teach her a lesson. I know, right? I can't wait for her to leave this place.
I decided that I couldn't take it anymore, so I took a few steps back and intentionally stomped my heels to the floor. I could still hear their whispers and make out half of their sentences. Wait, she's coming.
Oh, hi, Kaylee. We were just talking about how amazing you are as a department head, such a role model for all of us.
Yeah, Jenny was just praising your dedication and hard work, Kaylee.
Absolutely. We're lucky to have you here.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your kind words.
You're welcome, Kaylee. We're here to support you in any way we can.
That's right, Kaylee. If you ever need anything, just let us know.
We are all a team here, and we are here to make your job easier.
Okay, let's pretend like nothing happened. Keep smiling, everyone. It felt like a knife to my heart. Despite my efforts to create a supportive and inclusive work environment, it seemed that Jenny had other ideas. Still, I remained committed to my role as a mentor and leader. I resolved to guide and teach Jenny to the best of my ability, hoping to mend our relationship and help her grow professionally. Unfortunately, her attitude persisted, and her performance at work was terrible. She made careless mistakes, causing trouble and requiring others to pick up the slack. To make matters worse, she began taking frequent days off, burdening her colleagues with an increased workload. This problem was leading to overtime work for everyone involved. As the situation at work deteriorated, it impacted my personal life as well. Gary started working late too. This left us with increasingly limited time to spend together. I felt exhausted, overwhelmed by the weight of both professional and personal challenges. I found myself on the brink of despair. Each day felt like a battle, and I questioned whether I could continue this way. Just when I thought everything was going the wrong way, something awesome happened. I received the news of a substantial bonus at work. It was an unexpected stroke of luck. Now I could actually consider retiring early and pursuing our dream of traveling the country. Excitement bubbled within me as I pictured sharing this incredible news with Gary. I imagined the look of delight on his face and the spark of joy in his eyes. But despite my excitement, his reaction really perplexed me. Gary, I have some incredible news. I received a huge bonus at work today.
Oh, that's great, Kaylee. Congratulations.
Thanks! Can you believe it? With this bonus, we could actually think about retiring early and finally make our dream of traveling come true. I started to feel like something was wrong, but I couldn't believe that Gary wasn't as excited as I was. Hey, what's wrong? I thought you would be thrilled about this opportunity. We have been talking about traveling for years.
It's not that I'm not happy, Kaylee. It's just, I don't know. Lately, work has been so demanding and I've been feeling worn out. The idea of early retirement feels distant right now.
I understand, Gary, but that's why this bonus is so important. We can take the time to pursue our dreams together.
I don't know. Maybe I need some time to let it sink in.
Well, remember all the places we wanted to visit, the adventures we dreamed of having?
Yeah, I remember. It's just that they don't seem that exciting anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, just give me some time, okay? Let me think this through.
Oh, okay. Confusion settled in my chest like a heavyweight. Why wasn't Gary thrilled by this opportunity? My heart sank as I listened to his words. At that moment, I made a promise to myself and to Gary. I vowed to rekindle the flame within us. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but the bonus presented an opportunity for us to rediscover the joy we had lost along the way. But it seemed like life had another plan for me. My life was completely changed just a few days after that conversation. That fateful evening, Gary returned home with a surprise that left me utterly stunned. Walking through the door, he was accompanied by a woman, and as my eyes focused, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was Jenny, my niece. But something was different about her, something that sent a shiver down my spine. As soon as she saw me, her face turned blue. She was scared and embarrassed for her life. Before I could comprehend the situation, Gary made a shocking announcement.
Kaylee, I have some news to share. Meet Jenny, my girlfriend. Oh, and here's the thing. She's pregnant with my child.
Hi, Kelly. I didn't expect things to turn out like this.
Well, isn't this a delightful surprise? Gary, you really outdid yourself this time, didn't you?
I finally found someone who understands me, Kaylee. Someone who appreciates me for who I am. You know, someone young and vibrant?
Kaylee, I'm really sorry. I didn't know you were his. It just happened. Oh, Jenny, you're sorry? Well, isn't that just touching? Gary, do you even know who she is?
What do you mean? It's time for us to move on.
Move on, huh?
Well, congratulations, Gary. You've managed to replace me so effortlessly and with my niece? What a sick bastard you are. Wait, what? That can't be. Jenny is 25 years old. I haven't met your niece, but she's surely not that old.
Actually, Oh, Gary, you don't know. Go on, Jenny. Tell him how old you really are. I'm actually 17.
Wait, what? Aren't you an intern? How come a high school graduate got an internship?
My dad is really influential. Her dad is my cousin, Gary.
You're messed up. God, why did you lie to me, Jenny?
I wanted your attention.
This is freaking terrible. What the hell am I supposed to do now?
I couldn't help but laugh. It was such a terrible situation, and I didn't know what to feel. Still, I refused to let bitterness consume me entirely. Instead, I faced the situation head on, determined to stand up for myself. In the days that followed, Gary had made the choice to end our marriage. He cited my infertility as a reason, as if the struggles we had faced together were solely my burden to bear. And in a twist of irony, he claimed responsibility for Jenny's pregnancy. I'm not going to lie, the pain cut deep. I was heartbroken, but I refused to let this chapter define the entirety of my life. Hiring a lawyer, I swiftly sent divorce papers to Gary, leaving no room for reconciliation. It was time to seek justice for the damages caused by his affair. Simultaneously, I reached out to my cousin, sharing the truth about Jenny's affair. My cousin, shocked and disappointed by Jenny's actions, took Jenny back to the countryside where she worked on the family farm. Everyone we know was aware of her embarrassing situation and the truth behind her pregnancy. Of course, her baby was innocent. Even though I despised what happened, I was still glad that the baby would grow up in the peaceful and healthy environment of the countryside. With the assistance of legal counsel, I relentlessly sought financial compensation from Gary. It was only fair that Gary face the consequences of his actions. The weight of his infidelity and the impact it had on my life needed to be acknowledged. But it didn't stop there. My cousin sued Gary for having been involved with Jenny, given Jenny's age. Everything was really challenging, but I kept pressing on. The weight of the situation bore heavily upon my shoulders as I navigated the complex legal proceedings. There were moments when doubt and guilt consumed me. I kept asking myself, how had it come to this? How had I come to sue my own husband and bring an end to our marriage? Still, part of me knew better. I knew that sometimes the most difficult decisions are the right ones. It was a painful truth to accept, but I deserved better than a life of lies and deceit. After a long legal battle, Gary eventually lost both of the cases, leaving him obligated to pay not only me but also my cousin for the damages he had inflicted upon us. Months after all of that drama, I knew that I finally had the time and space to heal. I sought solace in the one thing that had always brought me joy: travel. With the financial compensation I received, I embarked on a journey of self-discovery. From the streets of New York City to the quiet small towns, I went everywhere I wanted to. I wandered through art galleries, local restaurants, and majestic national parks. Along the way, I encountered kind-hearted strangers who shared their stories and touched my heart with their generosity. It was during a trip to the enchanting Maldives that I crossed paths with a successful businessman named Leo. Leo and I connected on a profound level. He was different, and he made me feel emotions that I had never had before. We shared stories, dreams, and a desire to explore the world together. As our bond deepened, we realized that our meeting was no mere coincidence. It felt like fate. Love blossomed between us, bringing light and hope to my heart. Together, Leo and I went on countless adventures exploring the hidden corners of the world. We laughed, we cried, and we created memories that would last a lifetime. In each other's arms, we found comfort, healing, and a renewed sense of purpose. I'm happier than ever with Leo, and I can't wait for what our future will offer. I shut down my laptop and stretched my body. It's been 6 hours since I immersed myself in work. I am working remotely this month, and most of the time, I'll be staying at home with my family, my husband, and kids. I rested for a few minutes and took a moment to think about my life. Since I was young, I always wanted to make a name and live independently. At a very young age, I made my way out of the gutters of poverty. I worked hard and I was able to support my needs, especially my studies during my college years. And I did it. From scratch, I was able to build myself, launch a business, and met the love of my life. I am beyond grateful to meet my husband, as he gave me meaning to my life by loving me unconditionally and giving me 3 kids that are beyond beautiful. Everything in my life and career was in place. I have a supportive family and a booming business. However, I never imagined that my life would become a battleground where tradition clashed with independence since I married my husband. Don't get me wrong, this miserable notion is not because of my husband Leo, but his mother, my mother-in-law Greta. My name is Nicole, and I refuse to conform to the role of a subservient daughter-in-law. And I never knew that being independent would affect me so much. My mental health, and even upholding my right and performing my responsibilities to my own family. The day that my husband and I wed, I was surprised when he told me that his mother will be living with us. I knew that he had the personality of a mama's boy, but not to the point that his mother will be with us, overseeing his moves all the time. I could remember during our reception when my husband told me about it.
My love, I have something to tell you, and I guess you will like it.
He smiled at me and my heart skipped a beat. I was anticipating what he was going to reveal to me. What is it, my love? My voice is full of excitement.
My mother is going to live with us.
My smile dropped as soon as I heard it. I mean, I appreciate his mother, but to live with us? That is just crossing the boundary. What do you mean? I asked him. My voice was full of confusion.
Mother will be living with us for good. Isn't that great? She will be able to help us in running things around the house, especially when we work. With my mother around, household chores will be easier, and she can help us with decision making. You know that my mommy knows best, right?
I heaved a sigh. This cannot be it. We won't have our autonomy inside the house. I know how controlling Leo's mother can be, and I could tell that she's quite infamous for it. She even talked to me harshly when we were still girlfriend and boyfriend. She would tell me that she hates me because I'm too independent and that I would overpower my husband someday and I would hurt his ego. I don't understand her point. Wouldn't she be happy that I will be helping her son with financial matters someday? So during that moment, I was so confused about having her with us inside the house. I'm sorry, my love, I don't get it.
What context you didn't get, Nicole?
My eyes widened as I saw my mother-in-law standing beside my husband. She held her son's arms and caressed them. She also whispered to him. My brows frowned at what they were talking about. This is my wedding day and it is supposed to be happy and special, but my mother-in-law is ruining it. I saw Leo nodding at her with panic in his eyes, and he looked at me again.
Mommy thinks you hate her, love.
My jaw dropped. What is happening here? I never said that. I just don't understand why we have to decide this thing today out of all the days. And we plan to move out immediately. so that we can finally start as a family together. My mother in law faked a sob.
So, clearly, you don't like me living with you?
My husband panicked and immediately hugged her, and I was just right there standing in front of them, dumbfounded. She's a manipulator. So I heaved a sigh and just nodded. Alright, I'm fine with it, I'm sorry. I leave them there. I feel so upset and down during my wedding day and even during our honeymoon at a 5-star hotel. She insisted on booking a room next to ours. This is completely fucking insane. And 5 years later, I am still stuck with her. From the day of our wedding, Greta made it clear that I fell far short of her expectations. I was not the docile, stay-at-home wife she had envisioned for her son Leo. Living under her roof became a nightmare as she exerted control over every aspect of our lives. Greta's need for power overshadowed any semblance of harmony within our home. It is clear to everyone that I ran my own successful business and managed our family's finances with confidence and expertise. However, my fierce independence was met with disdain by Greta. She always pinpoints that a wife must obey her husband and must stay at home, but I'm the complete opposite. I would travel around the country for business trips, and whenever I am at home, I would be working on my laptop. But it doesn't mean that I am slacking on my responsibilities as a mother and wife, because I was still able to manage everything properly. But Greta kept on insisting that I must shut down my business. She's such a controller and manipulator. She wants everything that she wants to be followed. I have worked all my life to get there, and she cannot just take it away from me. Sometimes my husband would side with his mother, but it is clear that he was only doing it to stop a potential fight between us. And most of the time, he understands me. He listens to me and would give me advice. But I would say that his advice is rather neutral. He has a diplomatic personality, and that is what I like about him. We have so many things in common, even the food that we are allergic to. Black pepper, we hate it very much. I am just so lucky to have a husband as understanding as Leo, but I wish he would step up more and make things straight inside the house. But as the years went by, I learned how to live with her. I learned how to control everything that she does and makes inside the house. I learned how to endure all her mistreatments and insulting side comments. I gave her all the freedom that she wants because I don't have time to fight with her. It would just cause a major rift and a big gap between us, and I'm not completely ready for that. Words like entitled, bitch, selfish, and self-serving loser became normal to me because these are the words that she always says to me. I couldn't deny that she hates me to the bones, and her manipulation extended beyond emotional torment. She rules over the house, especially in serving my husband and kids. She wielded her influence most deviously in the kitchen, where she assumed control of meal preparation. Little did I know that Greta had a sinister plan brewing beneath her nurturing facade. I have noticed that every time Greta cooks, especially when she's angry with me, I feel uneasy. It feels like my stomach would twist and my allergies increase every time I eat the food she cooks. And the weird part is, I'm the only one who feels it. The rest of the family seems to be normal. And I knew that the pain is intended for me alone. My stomach would feel pain as if someone is squeezing it inside. My arms and thighs would have itchy red spots, and sometimes it could cause me a heaviness in breathing. I made sure that we don't have all the foods or ingredients that could cause or trigger our allergies, especially black pepper. So I could not blame the ingredients, but these symptoms can only be visible once I ate an allergen. We made it very clear inside the household that allergy-inducing foods must not be mixed with the food we ate because it is a major health hazard. I talked to my husband about this, but he couldn't tell whether it is caused by the allergen, but it is very obvious. I don't want to drop names and accuse someone without evidence, but I know that this has something to do with my mother-in-law's hatred and grudge towards me. And I was right. It wasn't long before I connected the dots. The unbearable stomach aches and bouts of vomiting that plagued me after every meal were not mere coincidences. I discovered the truth. It was a normal afternoon, and it's been a while since I felt awful with the food I ate. I was working remotely and felt hungry, so I thought of cooking something for me and for the kids as well, a little snack. I was glad that my mother in law was not in the kitchen and I could finally have full control of the room. I checked the pantry for something to eat and I saw something, a suspicious small jar. I opened it and by the smell of it I coughed. My eyes widened as I realized the scent. It is black pepper! I closed it immediately and put it away from me. I knew something was not right. I'm pretty sure the black pepper has been sprinkled onto my food many times and is only intended for me to poison me. My mother-in-law was the only one who has access to the pantry, and she made sure that I shouldn't get inside because I am too busy for cooking and you can't cook because you're not even a mother and wife material. And now that I'm inside, I was so shocked that she had been hiding black pepper inside. So this means that she's the one to blame? She has the main access to the pantry only. My eyes widened in fear and shock as I tried to process everything. My mother-in-law had been secretly poisoning me all this time. She intentionally added copious amounts of black pepper to my dishes, knowing all too well that both Leo and I were highly allergic to it. The one rule she was fully aware of was to never include black pepper in our food. I couldn't let Greta's treachery go unnoticed any longer. Determined to expose her, I began meticulously documenting her actions. I endured the pain and suffering, gathering evidence to unveil her true nature. So the next day, I secretly installed a hidden camera, and every time she would prepare dinner, it would record her. I must have caught her in the act, and it has to be now while I'm still working at home. And one fateful day, as I was checking my emails, I heard that she wanted to cook dinner, so I reviewed the camera's footage and I caught her in the act. I saw her preparing the food on separate plates, and only one plate was sprinkled with black pepper, and it must be mine. And she did it so great because every time I eat, I would never realize that there is black pepper in it. The revelation was like a bolt of lightning striking through my veins. The disgust and anger welled up inside me as I confronted her, my voice laced with a mixture of fury and disbelief. I immediately went down to the kitchen and I saw her innocently preparing the food, and I confronted her immediately. "Greta, I have had enough of your games. What did you just put on my plate?" I talked to her in a tone that she never heard before, and she was shocked that I was too bold. She turns towards me, feigning innocence, and her face is full of false concern.
What are you talking about, dear? I didn't put anything on your plate.
I was so shocked when I saw her concerned face. Why is she acting up? So I looked around, and there I saw my husband coming in from the front door. So she's going to play the victim now, huh? My frustrations boil over and my voice trembles with anger. "Don't lie to me, Greta. I know what you have been doing. You have been poisoning me, adding black pepper to my food, even though you know I'm allergic. How could you be so cruel?" She was so shocked by my accusations, her expression quickly shifted from innocent to defensive. I intentionally shouted so that my husband could hear it, and to let him know what his mother is doing.
Oh, please, don't be so melodramatic, Nicole. I would never do such a thing. You're just trying to make me the villain in this situation.
I slammed my hands on the counter, my eyes burning with intensity. She pretended to be shocked as I saw my husband move towards us, and then she fakes a cry. "Oh, please, here we go again." "Enough, Greta. I have proof. I have been documenting every single time you have tampered with my food. This ends now." My husband stood beside me, completely confused.
What is going on here?
Your mother is trying to— Nothing, son. Are you tired? You can rest upstairs. I'll call you when the food is ready.
Greta tried to divert my husband's attention to her and instructed him to take a rest. So, as a mama's boy, my husband followed her orders. That was my chance to expose the truth. As soon as my husband was out of the picture, my mother-in-law's attempt at playing the victim infuriates me even more. So I walked in front of her, but not a single hint of guilt was found on her face. She even smirked at me. I trusted you, Greta. I thought you were family, but you have been intentionally harming me, trying to break me down. Well, I won't let you win. I won't let you twisted games destroy me. I have evidence. Greta tries to maintain her composure, but it starts to crack when I point to the hidden camera, which is not completely hidden from her anymore. The panic in her eyes started to grow. You're being ridiculous, Nicole. I would never hurt my own son's wife. We're a family. You're just making up stories to drive a wedge between us. My eyes blazed with a mixture of anger and sadness. Look at that, Greta. I have recorded everything. It's all right there. Your betrayal, your manipulation, you can't deny it any longer. Greta's eyes flicker with panic as she realizes her game is up. She stumbles for words, her voice trembling, but she picked up her pace once again. I didn't mean for it to go this far. It was just a way to assert control, to remind you of your place. Well, Greta, your games end here. I won't let you hurt me or my husband any longer. You will face the consequences of your actions. But Greta smirked and even chuckled, unbothered by everything. Really? So are you going to tell your husband my son? Will he believe you? I am his mother. He will listen to me and will obey me. Keep that in your mind. We'll see. I said it in a very strong tone. I stormed out of the kitchen, leaving Greta behind. The weight of the truth hung heavily in the air. Greta, now exposed, was left to confront the consequences of her malicious actions. But this time, fate took a twisted turn. We proceeded to have dinner as if nothing happened. My family was so oblivious to the argument that transpired earlier. I was so hesitant to take the food, but I took an anti-allergy tablet before, so that whatever she puts in there won't hurt and affect me. Because I want to be strong, I will expose her right now. But my husband started to cough and shouted that his tummy hurts. I quickly responded to him and I checked his food. There are black pepper in here. And then I realized in my mother-in-law's panic earlier, she mistakenly switched our plates and Leo unknowingly consumed the poisoned meal. Her plan backfired. As Leo's life hung in the balance, a fire ignited within me, a relentless thirst for justice. At that moment, revenge consumed my thoughts. Greta's actions had shattered our trust and endangered the life of the man I loved. She would pay for her betrayal. I called an ambulance immediately and Greta was so shocked that she even cried, realizing her fault. The medical team rescued him immediately and took Leo straight to the hospital's emergency room. While Leo was fighting for his life in the hospital, I unveiled the evidence I had gathered to him and the medical staff. The shock in their eyes mirrored my own as the truth spilled forth. Greta's mask slipped, revealing her true nature to the world. The doctors explained the consequences and the issues it would cause to our health, and it turns out that my mother-in-law doesn't only put pepper in his food, but also poison that was meant for me. All this time she was planning to poison me, and the day that she orchestrated it, it backfired on her and my husband was the one who got caught on the bait she severely planned. So the authorities got her. Greta's arrest marked the beginning of her downfall, but it wasn't enough to quench the thirst for vengeance burning within me. I knew that to truly break her, I had to dismantle the empire she had built. With Leo's unwavering support and my newfound strength, I meticulously unraveled Greta's web of deceit. The wounds from Greta's betrayal ran deep, but they fueled our determination to rebuild our lives. My own family, I never got the chance to decide for them and live with them. Together we forged a path based on trust, respect, and resilience. We surrounded ourselves with a supportive network of people who uplifted us and helped us heal from the scars of the past. As we emerged from the darkness, I couldn't help but reflect on the power of resilience and the strength that lies within us all. Greta's actions had threatened to break us, but instead, they ignited a fire within our soul, a fire that propelled us forward, stronger than ever before. Our journey wasn't just about seeking revenge, it was about reclaiming our identities, reclaiming our voices. We refused to be defined by the pain inflicted upon us. Instead, we embraced our newfound freedom, embracing the opportunity to live life on our terms. In the wake of Greta's downfall, I realized that true victory was not in seeking revenge, but in finding inner peace and forgiveness. The weight of carrying hatred and bitterness only holds us back, so I made a conscious choice to let go, to release the shackles of anger that bound me. As time went on, we found happiness and fulfillment in the simplest of moments. Our love grew deeper, our bond unbreakable. We built a life filled with laughter, joy, and a renewed sense of purpose. We became a beacon of hope, proof that love and resilience can triumph over even the darkest of betrayals. And so, our story stands as a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that in the face of adversity, we can rise above, transform pain into strength, and find redemption in the most unexpected of places. Though scarred, we emerge from the shadows as victors, forever resilient and forever free.
Is this some sick joke, Joseph? How could you do this to your own wife? This is childish, Emily. Why did you have to involve my parents? Couldn't you handle it like adults? The car crash should have ended you.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Emily, and I'm in my early 30s. I am happily married to Joseph, at least I was happily married to him. Just a few months ago, my world seemed perfect, but like all good stories, my life was destined for a twist. As fate would have it, my husband Joseph had entrusted me with the simple task of running an errand.
Hey, can you do me a favor? I need you to pick up something for me while you're out. Take the key for my car.
I wasn't particularly fazed about doing an errand for him. It had become a familiar scenario in our relationship. Joseph often relied on me to handle various tasks, whether it was paying the bills, buying groceries, or running errands, always claiming exhaustion from work as his excuse. It's funny because he's not the only one with work and he would not share the errands with me.
It's our anniversary tomorrow, and I thought it would be nice to surprise you with something special. Consider it a belated anniversary gift for all those years when I never got you anything.
I couldn't believe my ears. Joseph rarely gave gifts. He would always joke that the fact that he still stayed with me was his gift. This gesture caught me off guard and excitement bubbled within me as I imagined what the surprise might be. Could it be the piece of jewelry I had been eyeing, or perhaps a heartfelt keepsake that symbolized our love? Regardless of what it was, the fact that Joseph went out of his way to plan something special touched me deeply. I was a bit afraid he wasn't going to change anymore and would keep giving me the bare minimum throughout the course of our relationship. I pushed those thoughts aside and focused on the task at hand. As I took his key and settled into his car, I couldn't help but admire the sleek and polished exterior. Joseph's car was his pride and joy, meticulously cared for and always sparkling clean. The leather seats hugged my body comfortably as I adjusted the mirrors and fastened my seatbelt. As I started the engine and pulled out onto the road, I got to experience the car in a new way, paying extra attention to every detail, including the feel and the sound of the brakes. I couldn't help but wonder if the brakes were supposed to be this way, given the limited experience I have with driving Joseph's car. As I pressed down the brake pedal, a peculiar sensation washed over me. It wasn't the reassuring resistance I had come to expect from the brakes. Instead, there was a slight sponginess raising doubt in my mind. I questioned whether this was how the brakes were intended to feel and whether everything was as it should be. Listening closely, I strained my ear to catch any unusual sounds. Was that a faint squeak I heard, or was just my imagination playing tricks on me? I couldn't shake off the feeling that there might be something wrong with the car. Driven by my instincts, I decided to investigate further to ensure my safety. I called Joseph to voice out my concerns. Hey Joseph, I'm on my way to pick up the gift, but I have this feeling that something might be off with the car. The brakes feel a bit strange, and I'm not sure if everything's alright.
Oh, come on, Emily. You're just being overly cautious. Trust me, I take care of my car better than I take care of myself. Do you think I would actually miss a day of maintenance? Besides, it's a powerful machine, and it likes to be driven a bit wild. Going slow might be more dangerous. Don't worry about it.
I wanted to believe Joseph. After all, he had more knowledge about cars than I did, and his dismissive tone made me second guess my concerns. I decided to follow his advice and put my faith in him, pushing aside my initial doubts. As I pressed on, my anxiety grew with every mile. The sound of the brakes continued to nag me, each scream and squeal of it. Joseph's words echoed in my mind, urging me to drive faster to drown out the disconcerting noise. Reluctantly, I followed his advice, hoping the speed would distract me from the growing unease. But fate had a different plan in store. As I approached a busy intersection, my heart froze in my chest. The traffic light ahead turned red, forcing me to apply the brakes. With a surge of panic, I pressed my foot down, but to my horror, the pedals sank to the floor. The brakes had failed. Time seemed to slow. Horns blared and tires screeched. My hands gripped the steering wheel, my mind racing to find a solution. Desperate to avoid colliding with the vehicles ahead, I veered to the side, narrowly dodging a catastrophic collision. The screeching of metal and the shattering of glass filled the air as I careened off the road, finally coming to a stop with a jolt. The impact left me disoriented and shaken, my body aching from the force of the crash. Amidst the adrenaline pumping through my veins, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. I was alive. With trembling fingers, I reached for my phone and dialed Joseph's number, my voice quivering as I recounted the horrifying accident I had just been in. Joseph, there's been an accident. The brakes failed and I barely avoided a major collision. I'm scared, Joseph. I'm okay, but the car, it's a wreck. I don't know what to do.
Emily, where are you? I'll come right away.
My heart skipped a beat when I heard a subtle annoyance in his voice, as if my survival had inconvenienced him in some way. I guess he's just that of a busy man. As he rushed to the scene of the accident, his priorities seemed askew. Instead of immediately checking on my well-being, he instinctively dug pieces of the dashcam and retrieved the SD card from it. He is such a practical man, since we will need to file an insurance claim anyway. At least we'll get something out of this traumatizing accident. In the days that followed, as I recuperated from my injuries and pieced together the events of that day, I couldn't help but be consumed by so many questions. Joseph, where's the SD card from your car's dashcam? I want to watch the footage of the accident.
That will just distress you further. Reliving the accident might be too traumatic, so it's best you don't watch it, and besides, watching it won't change what happened. Let's just move forward instead of dwelling on the past.
Despite his protests, I couldn't let go of my curiosity. One night, as Joseph fell into a deep slumber, I sneakily opened his laptop, skimming through files and searching for the exact moment when the brakes failed. The cursor hovered over countless mundane clips of everyday drives, conversation, and innocent moments. I clicked on a random video, hoping that it will be the right one. Tears started to well up in my eyes immediately.
I wish we could be together all the time without any restrictions.
I know, babe, but we have to be careful. We don't want anyone to find out about us.
When can we see each other again after this? I'll miss your touch.
Soon, my love. We'll find a way. Just know that you mean everything to me.
A sound of a soft kiss followed their words, echoing through the car speakers and piercing my soul. A mix of anger, betrayal, and heartache swirled within me. How could Joseph have done this to me? How long had the affair been going on? Is that why he wouldn't let me use his car, because it's for his other lover? Gosh, I think this hurts even more than the car accident I was recently in. I dialed the number of Joseph's parents, desperate for their support and guidance. That very night, I sat in our living room with his parents by my side. The laptop was open before them, ready to expose the painful truth. As the video played, the room filled with tension and the air grew heavy with disappointment.
Are you sure that's not your voice? I can't believe he was capable of doing such a thing. I raised him to be better than this.
I think she would be aware of her own voice. I'm sorry that this happened to you, Emily. Alright, that's it.
My father-in-law stomped into Joseph's room. Filled with disappointment, he unleashed a torrent of scoldings and reprimands.
Is this some sick joke, Joseph? How could you do this to your own wife?
Joseph's face has been contorted with confusion as being woken up from his sleep. He lashed out at me regardless, accusing me of being a tattletale for bringing his parents into personal matters.
What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. We saw footages from your car's dashcam. You are having an affair. I'm so disappointed in you. Your mother and I solved every problem that came our way so you wouldn't have a broken family, and then you go ahead and start one? This is childish, Emily. Why did you have to involve my parents? Couldn't you handle it like adults? The car crash should have ended you.
It was all too chaotic for me, and I couldn't do anything but freeze on spot.
If you can't honor the commitment you made to Emily, or at least respect her as a human being, then you don't deserve the car we have given you as a wedding gift. We're taking it back and we're not getting you a new one.
With desperation in his eyes, Joseph snatched the laptop from the table and rushed to his room, determined to get rid of the evidence. The sound of their pleas fell on deaf ears as he barricaded himself away, frantically attempting to send the car crash footage to the insurance company before he deletes all files. Joseph's parents and I exchanged helpless glances. The reality of the shattered trust hung heavy in the air. In that moment, the decision was made. I knew I couldn't continue a life built on lies and betrayal. He accuses me of being childish, but what about him? He's literally hiding inside his room like a kid, deleting his search history from his parents. I want a divorce. The room fell into a heavy silence, broken only by the distant sound of Joseph's frantic movements in his room. Joseph's parents, still reeling from the shock of their son's actions, nodded in agreement. There was a silent understanding that the situation's now over. Joseph still stayed inside his room. His parents went home, and I stayed with my parents' place temporarily. In the days that followed, while I was trying to rebuild my life after that devastating betrayal, I found myself having a seemingly normal day. As I went about my routine, a notification suddenly dinged on my phone. I unlocked my phone and read the unexpected message.
Dear Mr. Joseph, this is to acknowledge receipt of the evidence you submitted regarding the incident involving your vehicle and the subsequent insurance claim. We take this matter very seriously and assure you that a thorough examination of the evidence will be conducted.
Oh, I had forgotten that Joseph's email was still logged in on my phone when he had borrowed it some time ago. In an impulsive move, I opened his sent emails to watch the footage he sent to the insurance company. After all, I'm still curious about the car crash footage Joseph refused to show me.
Can you believe it? When this pushes through, we'll not only get rich with the insurance money but finally be free to be together.
Are you sure this is going to work? What if she refuses to pick the gift up?
Are you kidding me? That woman is desperate from any ounce of affection. She would probably scream with glee as if I would actually spend a penny on her. If I would give anyone a grand anniversary gift, it would be for you, my darling.
I can't wait, Joseph. It's about time we make our dreams a reality. It's about time to get rid of that trash.
My emotions ran wild. Not only did I watch how Joseph and his affair plotted the intentional crash for insurance money, it was also a calculated act to end my life. It was a chilling realization of Joseph's intention. I can't even recognize the man I married anymore. What happened to him? Who is he? Without wasting a second, I reached for my phone and immediately dialed my lawyer's number. No matter what happens, I'll make sure to hold Joseph accountable for his actions. As the call connected, I took a deep breath, shared the evidence I had uncovered, and made it clear that I wanted to press charges for attempted murder against Joseph. My lawyer was equally taken aback by the disturbing revelations and assured me that we would proceed with the necessary legal actions. Together, we meticulously prepared the case, gathering evidence and building a strong argument to build a solid case. In the following days, as the legal proceedings against Joseph for attempted murder went through, filing a formal complaint for attempted murder. News also reached to me how the insurance company had caught wind of Joseph's fraudulent activities and had taken legal action against him for insurance fraud. I didn't even have to intervene or tell on him to the company. It's the consequences of his actions, simply closing in on him from all sides. His parents refused to provide any financial support for his legal defense. He was left without resources or a safety net, as his parents also severed familial ties that Joseph had taken for granted. He had become a man stripped of his wealth, his marriage, his parents' support, and his freedom, with no license to drive his misfortune away. The thought that the person I once loved had planned to end my life for personal gain was a bitter pill to swallow. But ironically, the accident saved my life because I have been given a second chance in life without the compensation of such a wicked man. It was a bumpy ride, but karma took the driver's seat to steer me towards the justice I deserve. I stapled the last bundle of paper on my desk. I arranged them on a filer and leaned my back on my swivel chair. Finally, the day is over. The paperwork for this day was horrendous. It almost gave me a heart attack. The office has been so busy, and I felt all kinds of struggles in my department. I could feel my back burning, in pain, but I paid it completely no mind. It's the season of the market in which sales in real estate are getting higher, and this day is one of the busiest days during that peak season. It is so draining to work in a corporate company, especially because you have loads of work and you aren't even compensated equally. My name is Gail, and I am a hardworking office clerk, content with my modest income and the life I had built with my husband, Lance. My husband, on the other hand, works abroad as an engineer, so I am left at home with his parents. My husband and I kind of have the same line of work. I work as a clerk in a real estate company, while he is a civil engineer who builds the houses in a real estate company. And here's what's more exciting: we work for the same company because it has many branches abroad. Every morning, I woke up early, did the mundane stuff, and went to work as a normal corporate worker, but beneath my seemingly ordinary exterior lay a hidden truth that I had kept concealed to avoid judgment and unfair labels. You see, my family owns a real estate company, and we are quite well off. We are a family of real estate mongers, down from my great grandparents up to my current generation. And on the other side, my husband's father, Dave, is also an engineer and works under my father's authority. However, I never wanted my background to define me or my relationship with Lens. I wanted to be appreciated for who I am, not the privileges I may have had growing up. That is why, at a very early stage, I moved out of our house as soon as I turned 18 and worked for my life. I earned through freelancing all the while finishing college. My parents offered me money after I graduated, but I didn't accept it. Instead, I worked at our company as a regular employee with no nepotism involved and even privileges that separates me from the common workforce and employees. So I chose not to disclose my family's wealth to Dave and Lauren, fearing that they would perceive me as someone who had everything handed to her on a silver platter. My husband and I dated for 5 months, and we secretly eloped until recently when he was about to leave for a job in another country. We introduced ourselves to each of our parents. He was so shocked to know that my family is wealthy, but I told him that he should never make a big deal out of it. For a while, everything seemed perfect. While my husband was away, Dave and Lauren, my parents-in-law, welcomed me into their family with open arms, oblivious to my hidden secret. We shared laughter, meals, and precious moments. Everything was so fine and light having them around me. They treated me so nicely until my father-in-law was rushed to the hospital due to a high fever. He was doing field work while having symptoms of fever. He didn't tell us about it and just went on with his on-site project. But the fever went worse and got into him. He collapsed, and a good thing the medics posted within the site were quick to respond and rushed him directly to the hospital. And unfortunately, his condition worsened. He got infected with measles and is rapidly degrading his health, including his blood count. Hence, several medications were done to elevate his recovery. So, because of that, the hospital bill was so high. But the worst came. The infections worsened as they affected my father-in-law's skin and corrupted the dermal cells, resulting in an early sign of skin cancer, and it has to be treated as early as now. I wanted to help them, but my salary wasn't enough. My husband said that he will double his work shift to earn more money. With my father-in-law out of work and confined in the hospital, we don't have enough money to pay for it all. Lauren, my mother-in-law, came to talk to me. I think you should do something as well. Don't just stand there. Find something that can make us money. Will you just let my son do all the work? And how about you? You will just sit on the ragged office chair of yours? You do take pride in that job? You are nothing but a corporate slave. You have low pay in your job. She grabbed my hand and held it tight with her grip. I only put up on a show to like you, but in fact I do not. My son is a licensed engineer, and he will just end up with a clerk like you? Now make yourself useful and find some ways to pay the bill. Yes, I will. With her grip tightening, she looked at me with annoyance and anger. As you should, you worthless, ugly fool. She pushed me, and I almost stumbled on the ground, but I was able to contain my balance. I was so taken aback by my mother in law's behavior. I refused to believe that she treated me that way. I really wanted to help them, but I don't want to ask for help from my family, so I didn't have any choice but to give up all my savings. I used it to pay for the hospital bills. I didn't allow my husband to pay for anything because, to be honest, I feel guilty as well. I feel like I am useless. I want to build a strong relationship with my parents in law because we are family, but I think there is a gap already between me and my mother in law. After almost 2 months in the hospital, my father in law was finally discharged, and I thought everything would be back to normal, but I was wrong. The incident at the hospital was only the beginning of a horrible phase in my life. Every day, my mother in law would insult me with my job and salary, making me feel insecure about other people. She would also slap the truth right into my face that she doesn't like me for her son. There were many times when I wanted to talk back to her, slam her with my real status in life just to defend myself, but I don't want to be arrogant or egoistic. In short, I don't want to be like her. That's why I chose to remain silent every time she belted out those offensive and insulting statements. I don't want to start a fight within our household. That's why I continued my daily work, my work and home routines. One day, it was my mother's birthday, so I ordered a cake for her and some other stuff like her favorite books and style of dresses. And I asked one of the maids from my parents' place to help me orchestrate the plan. And because it was on a Monday, I had to rush myself to the office, and because of too much business, I forgot to contact the maid and ship the gift out yesterday. Hence, I'm doing it early in the morning. And because I was doing two different things at one time, I forgot to ship some of the gift items. So, while I was away for work that day, my mother in law stumbled upon some documents that revealed my family's address, and it listed a real estate village that is known to be exclusive for elite people. Shocked and outraged, she confronted me, accusing me of deceit and questioning my worth as a provider for the family. My mother in law stormed at me and grabbed my hand aggressively.
Gail, we need to have a serious talk. It's time to address the truth.
She slapped the papers in her hand onto my face. What do you mean, Lauren?
I have discovered the secret you've been hiding from us. You lied about your real status, Gail. I saw that mailer and parcel at your desk. Your family lives in an exclusive subdivision. It means you are wealthy.
My heart sank as I realized that my secret had been revealed. I should have not left that gift item, but I think she doesn't know who my parents are because I didn't write their names on the mailer. Lauren, I didn't mean to deceive you. I was afraid you would judge me based on my background, and I wanted to be accepted for who I am, not for my family's wealth. I responded to her with honesty. This is the exact reason why I didn't tell them about my family, because I wanted to be appreciated and loved through my individuality.
Acceptance, huh? Do you think lying to us is a way to achieve that? How could you hide something so significant from your own family?
I didn't want my family's wealth to define me. I wanted to build a genuine connection with all of you based on love and understanding.
A genuine connection? All this time you have been playing pretend, acting like one of us? I can't believe I let someone like you into our family. This is why I never liked you from the start. You know what? You're a good catch. Our life would have been better if your arrogant ass didn't play Miss Independent. I could have accepted you, but here you are, a mess. I don't want to see your face anymore. Good thing you did something useful for once and paid my husband's bill.
My eyes welled up with tears. hurt by Lauren's harsh words. Lauren, please try to understand. My love for Lance is real, and I care about you and Dave. I never meant to hurt anyone. I just wanted to be seen for who I am. She rolled her eyes. Seen for who you are? Oh, do shut up, girl. Stop wobbling about with your mouth. It annoys the hell out of me. You are nothing but a fraud. I never liked you, and this revelation is just the perfect opportunity to get rid of you. Lauren's words cut deep, and my emotions escalated with every sentence she uttered. I fought back my tears, and I gathered my strength. If that's what you truly want, Lauren, then I'll respect your decision, but please remember, love and acceptance should not be conditional on material wealth. She just laughed at me like I was a joke. You know what? Just pay us for compensation for your worthless lies. She smirked at me and laid her hand in front of me. You should be ashamed of yourself. Pay us for our troubles, or I will drag you out of the house. Her words pierced my heart, and I could feel her annoyance. And it is true, in the heat of the moment, Lauren made a rash decision. She demanded that I leave their house, citing my lies and low-paid job as justifications for her actions. I was devastated, feeling rejected and judged solely based on the life and principles I made for myself. She didn't even allow me to pack my belongings and just literally dragged me out of the house. She gripped me by my arm and pushed me to the ground. Get the hell out of here, you deceiving bitch, and never come back. And then sooner I found myself searching for a new place to stay in the middle of the night. I didn't inform my husband about the commotion. However, I told my father about everything, from the small details to the big ones, and he was furious to hear it. He was so mad that he wanted me to reveal everything to them. But I told him not to rush because I wanted to take my revenge. So as soon as I left, an unexpected series of misfortune befell my parents-in-law's life. It all started with electricity tripping off, leaving them in darkness. Then, the water system malfunctioned, leaving them without running water. To add to their woes, they received the distressing news that their house was listed for sale. It turns out that they were facing financial difficulties with the housing company, and the situation worsened when I unknowingly took the knowledge of this struggle with me when I left. And this is all through my request to my father. It is about time to use all my privileges, and it must serve me well. I will not let them get away with their abuses and mistreatments towards me. They were so confused about what was happening, so I made a grand comeback, revealing to them who I am. But this time, I got the upper hand. I came back to the house and confronted them once again. I want to remind you both of the day you kicked me out, the insults, the mistreatment, and the judgment you passed based on my income. It hurts deeply, and it's time for you to understand the consequences of your actions. And what about it? She asked me in a very aggressive tone while raising her eyebrows. Well, it's time for the truth to come out. My family's wealth and social standing were never a secret. My father is the owner of the very real estate company that built this house, and yes, he is your son and husband's boss. Dave and Lauren's eyes widened in disbelief, their face turning pale.
Why did you hide it? Why go through all this?
My father-in-law, who is now well, asked me nervously. I have said this to you, and I will say it again. I don't want to be judged solely based on my family's wealth. I wanted to be loved for who I am, not the privileges I may have had. Oh, so you are a rich brat and you're playing with us? What now? To make us feel inferior? No, Lauren, it was never about making you feel inferior. It was about breaking free from stereotypes and building a connection based on genuine understanding and respect. But your mistreatment of me showed your true colors. Dave and Lauren exchanged guilty glances, realizing the pain they caused me.
We didn't mean to treat you that way, Gail. We were wrong, and we're truly sorry.
My father in law was truly sorry about it, but remorse can never be seen in Lawrence's face. I appreciate your apology, but apologies alone cannot undo the damage that was done. It's time for you to face the consequences of your actions. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to reveal our family's lawyer and a group of people.
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, I am here to inform you that due to financial mismanagement, your house is being repossessed by Gail's father's real estate company, Mr. Glenn Farrago.
Dave and Lauren were in complete shock, their faces filled with disbelief and panic. You see, when you kicked me out, you unknowingly crossed the path of my father's company. The financial struggles that led to their repossession were a consequence of your mistreatment. Dave and Lawrence's shoulders slumped, realizing the impact of their actions, especially Lauren, because Dave was just merely a pawn in Lawrence's game. The weight of my mother-in-law's judgment and mistreatment crashes down upon them. I hope this serves as a lesson to you both. It's not about wealth or social status. It's about treating others with kindness and respect regardless of their background. Dave and Lauren sat in silence, their faces filled with regret and a newfound understanding. Amid their mounting troubles, Lauren realized the gravity of her actions and the mistaken judgment she had made about my worth. Overwhelmed with guilt and desperate for a resolution, she swallowed her pride and came to me, begging for my mercy. She apologized for her mistreatment and acknowledged the unfairness of her assumptions about my job and income. Although hesitant at first, I saw an opportunity for justice and growth. Seeking legal counsel, I gathered evidence of the mistreatment and hypocrisy I had endured. The truth was presented in court, revealing the true nature of Dave and Lawrence's behavior. Their mistreatment towards me was exposed, and they were convicted of their actions. The aftermath of the trial marked a turning point in our lives. My husband and I realized that we deserved better than the toxic environment created by his parents, especially his mother. We focused on rebuilding our lives, learning from the experience, and prioritizing our happiness. Our relationship with Dave and Lauren remained strained, but we chose to prioritize our well-being and surround ourselves with positivity. I found a new job that aligned with my skills and values, breaking free from the judgments associated with my family background and income. As we embraced our newfound independence, we left behind the shadows of their mistreatment. We learned that we could thrive in our terms, irrespective of our financial backgrounds. The experience taught us the importance of authenticity, acceptance, and treating others with kindness and respect. My husband and I focused on nurturing our relationship and creating a loving and supporting environment for ourselves. We surround ourselves with friends who appreciate us for who we truly were, not for our family's wealth or social standing. Together, we built a strong foundation based on trust, understanding, and shared values. Meanwhile, Dave and Lauren faced the consequences of their actions. The legal conviction served as a wake-up call for them to reevaluate their priorities and the way they treated others. It was a hard lesson for them to learn, but sometimes it takes a significant event to bring about real change. Over time, my husband and I forgave Dave and Lauren for the pain they had caused us. We understood that people can make mistakes and that growth is possible. However, the dynamics of our relationship with them shifted. While we maintained a cordial connection, we established healthy boundaries to protect our well being. As we moved forward, we continued to cherish and support each other. I thrived in my new job where I was valued for my skills and dedication. The weight of my family's wealth no longer burdened me, and I focused on making a positive impact in my own right. Our story serves as a reminder that judgment based on someone's income or background can lead to misunderstandings and unnecessary pain. It's essential to look beyond surface level perceptions and appreciate individuals for their character, resilience, and the love they bring into our lives. In the end, my husband and I found our path to happiness, free from the limitation imposed by societal expectations or the mistakes of others. We embraced our true selves unapologetically and built a life that reflected our values and aspirations. As we journeyed forward, we held onto the valuable lessons learned from our tumultuous experience, forever grateful for the strength and resilience it had awakened within us.